Now, there's a couple of issues that now spiral. Okay. These are, I call these spiraling issues. So as soon as you start having candida issues, you may start having poor digestion. So you may start seeing more intestinal distress, and the infection now starts to create more stress, which is going to lower stomach acid and lower enzyme levels. Now that's going to make it way harder for you to extract nutrients from your B vitamins or your minerals, which are really important for mood and energy, right? So it's possible that also a lot of the candida and yeast may be eating up some of those nutrients. They may be consuming some of those nutrients. So you can see now you're starting to have a tug of war fight with the microbes in your body, and then the healthy digestion and the healthy absorption of nutrients as well.
Well, this is titled something about candida and mood issue connection. So let's get into that now. You mentioned this robbing. I think that's the perfect time to transition and
Yes.
talk about that. So you mentioned that you're getting your nutrients stolen basically by these microbes and fungi. So the mechanism there, at least the mechanism that comes to mind for me, is just that you don't have the amino acids to manufacture neurotransmitters. But what else is going on? Why else do you think the candida issues are contributing to mood issues?
Yeah, so you're going to have the competing of nutrients and amino acids and some of your minerals that are really important. Number two is you're going to have mycotoxins produced by the candida. Just like you have mold produce various mycotoxins like ochratoxin and such, you're going to have mycotoxins produced by the candida in your gut. And those mycotoxins can increase gut permeability. And the more gut permeability there is, the more that can stress out your immune system. And it can also allow undigested compounds and mycotoxins to cross the blood-brain barrier and hit the brain. And then as soon as things start crossing the blood-brain barrier, you're going to see an activation of your microglial cells, right? Your astrocytes are what make up the blood-brain barrier. Once these things go past the astrocytes, you're going to see an increase in the microglial activation. And that's going to now cause more cognitive issues because your immune system is now trying to fight a war against invaders entering the brain.
The problem is the immune system is suppressed because a specific mycotoxin that there's different species of fungi like aspergillus can create gliotoxin, but candida has been found. It was kind of this, it was a debate basically in the medical community. Does candida actually make gliotoxin? And it turns out it does. And gliotoxin is an immunosuppressive toxin. So you're talking about how you're trying to gain the upper hand, but you literally can't. That's how smart these things are, is that candida is suppressing your ability to overcome it by producing a toxin that damages the immune system. I mean, it's a very, very smart thing. Like if you're a fungus, the best thing you could do, kill somebody's immune system so they can't get rid of you. I mean, it's very, very smart.
100%. Now, I have one study here, one article here that's really interesting on Science Daily, where they're seeing a correlation or a connection between candida and people with schizophrenia. And obviously, schizophrenia is going to be like the ultimate mood disorder where there's hallucinations and various, bipolar where you're manic and then depressive, you're on a high, you're on a low. But the fact that candida is associated with these kind of severe mental health mood issues isn't really important. So let me just kind of go through it. So in this study, at the Shepherd Pratt Health System, they had 277 controls, and they took blood samples from a group of 808 people between 18 and 65. And I think 261 individuals with schizophrenia and 270 with bipolar disorder. And the researchers used blood samples of IgG candida antibodies, which indicated a past infection. After accounting for factors like age, race, medication, they looked for patterns that suggested a link between the infection and mental illness. And it found no connection between the presence of candida and mental illness overall. But when the investigators looked only at men, they found that 26% of those with schizophrenia had candida compared to the 14% in the control group. So in men, it seemed to be a higher link. With women, it was about the same, so not as much with women, but very interesting. Also, men with bipolar disorder had a clear increase in candida as well, 26% versus 14 in the control. So that's really, really interesting.